Sandy Neck Beach staff are gearing up for the 4th of July. A project to mitigate coastal erosion on Sandy Neck is on hold, and we chat with Police Chief Paul McDonald on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. Sandy Neck Beach staff are gearing up for the busy season. Beach Park manager Nina Coleman says they are fully staffed and ready for the 4th of July.
We are fully staffed and preparing for the 4th of July. This is a very tough time of year because we're ending our fiscal year and ramping up for the 4th. So it's a challenging time. Some of the staff is new this year. There's some new faces out there. We're going to do our usual extensive training pre-4th of July. We team up with the police department and do training with the police department for our natural resource officers and field staff, mostly on safety.
Yep.
We are, as always, working with West Barnstable Fire Department, the chief there, as well as the Barnstable Fire Department and the Harbor Master Department. We do, we try to all come together and do drills together. And so that will be occurring before the 4th of July. And so those types of trainings are really important because as we move into that time of year, schools are starting to get out, patrons are going to start coming to the beach, and the 4th, of course, has its whole array of challenges. I want to just mention one of the issues that we often deal with on Sandy Neck around this time of year: fireworks. Fireworks are illegal. Somehow people forget that. And in addition, those lanterns are fireworks and are illegal. And I get that they're very benign and they're very beautiful, but they are dangerous because they are often going up into the dunes. That's a fire going into our dunes. They also create this huge piece of trash. So we're trying to get the word out.
No Chinese lanterns.
No Chinese.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Oriental.
No, I don't know what the actual. I just say lanterns.
Okay.
So safe. So obviously the fire chiefs are also concerned about this.
Right.
Our dunes are flammable. That's the last thing we want to do when we have a busy beach, is have to respond to something of that nature. So I just want to get that out early. I guess they're being sold everywhere. The education's not there yet.
The Sandy Neck Gatehouse is now open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. A project to deal with coastal erosion on Sandy Neck Beach hits a snag. Beach Park manager Nina Coleman updated the Sandy Neck board during its meeting last night.
The grant that we're in right now was supposed to include permitting, the starting of a chosen solution, and the start of a permitting process. And because all the outreach took so long, we months ago started realizing that that wasn't obtainable, and that the final product was going to be a report, which is good. It's a public record, and it would record, the meetings, the input, this board's discussion, and that would be the final document.
This board's recommendation.
This board's recommendation,
Right.
and the team, the building team, their recommendation as well. So provide all that information in one document. So that was going to be, and CCM was completely fine with that, and that's
Good.
the final product of that grant. The second round of grants were coming up, and it was determined that we are missing a really important component of this project, which is town councilor buy-in. Like, we got a lot of different people on board, perhaps the neighborhood, or we've certainly included the neighborhood, this board, but it's clear that there are people in the town council that are very adamant that this is not the right path to go. And we were dealing with a change in town managers. So the wisdom and this is politics, so I'm not, I'm along for the ride on this one, but the wisdom of the upper management felt that we needed to take a step, take a moment, and have part of this process with this final report be a workshop, a public workshop with the town councilors, and get a vote from them on policy, because ultimately it's their decision.
Coleman says the next step will be to host a workshop with the town council. Barnstable police are working an attempted murder case. To learn more, Channel 18's Sarah Colvin talked with Police Chief Paul McDonald.
Chief, a number of things to talk about today. Let's start. Understand there was unfortunately an attempted murder last week. Tell me about this incident.
It was last Wednesday, about 2 o'clock in the morning. The midnight shift responded to the area of Camp Street and Main Street. We got individuals who was bleeding from the head. We responded with the Hyannis Fire Department. We located the individual. The individual was awake, talking with the police officers when they arrived. They were able to get a description and a general description of the area where it happened. He was then brought to the hospital. At the hospital, it was discovered that he had a fractured skull and there was some swelling of the brain, and he was immediately shipped off to Boston to a Trauma 1 center. He still is in critical condition. We do have no idea if there will be any type of permanent injury. The individual that was arrested was a Richard Weeks. He was living at 26 Yarmouth Road, apartment A2, and apparently he is friends with the victim. The victim was staying there, and sometime during the night, supposedly, according to Mr. Weeks, he found the victim trying to steal some money from him. At that time, Weeks took out a blunt instrument and struck him several times, and a couple of times in the head, and he does have some very serious injuries.
Indeed. Now, the name Richard Weeks, Chief, sounds familiar to me. Has he been in trouble with you guys before?
He is. He just kind of moved into our town. He's from a different part of Cape. He's from the Falmouth area. He does have a past criminal history with the Falmouth and Mashpee Police Department, and we have dealt with him a couple of times on relatively minor instance, but this is serious, and right now he's currently being held on $25,000 cash bail.
Okay. So, Chief, and again, moving on, we heard about an accident that happened at a car dealership out on the kind of the beginning of North Street there. Tell me a little bit about what happened.
That was Friday
here.
night. That's the old Nissan dealership at the corner of Stevens Street and North Street. Apparently, the building is getting ready to be demolished, and before they go in there, they had to go in and remove any type of hazardous material from the building. And if it has any value, any of the copper or the piping, they'll be taking that out. They hired a company to go in there and do that. They were up in one of these small cherry pickers. It was extended all the way up, and they were taking the lights from the roof area. And for whatever reason, the cement floor underneath them collapsed. And when it collapsed, there was about a 20-foot drop to the basement floor. And with the 20 feet, and in addition to the thing was already raised up as high as it go, it was a pretty violent fall for 2 individuals that were in the bucket. One individual was treated at the Cape Cod Hospital, and the other was transported to the Boston area hospitals.
Indeed. And Chief, certainly I think that when we're thinking about older buildings like this, there's definitely concern for accidents to happen. I would assume that OSHA has been called in to investigate this as well.
OSHA was called in. The building was secured. We maintained a police presence there until OSHA arrived, and we maintained that presence until they left. The building now has been completely secured, and it still is scheduled for demolition sometimes towards the end of this week or the beginning of next week. But the building definitely is coming down.
Absolutely. Chief, let's talk about something that's going on as we speak. I understand there's a search warrant being executed out on Old Stage Road. What's going on there?
Number 740 Old Stage Road. This has been an ongoing investigation from the narcotics unit. This is considered a significant grow house in the basement area of the house. There's a large grow area where they're growing sizable amounts of marijuana. The narcotics unit has been sending me pictures since they started the search, and it appears right now pretty successful. They have not brought anyone in under arrest. It's still a very active crime scene. Everybody's still down there right now. So this will put a dent in it all. So again, this is just our ongoing effort to do something about the drug epidemic.
And you can hear from Chief McDonald every Tuesday during our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning. That program airs weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Finance Director Mark Milne, Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager Nina Coleman, plus we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.